What's up, you guys? It's James, your old friend you've never met before, aka Beanie Hat Jim, aka Afro Not So Slim. Back to you with another video, and today we'll be talking about my 2018 Dodge Charger Daytona with the 5.7 liter Hemi. And it's hard to believe, and time moves super fast, but it's been 1 year and about 12,000 miles since I've bought this car. It's been almost to the date. Today is August 13th, 2023, and I bought this car August 14th of 2022. So it's almost a year to the date, and in celebratory manner, I wore the same exact outfit minus the hat and shoes when I bought the car. And what a year it's been. I mean, personally, I bought this car, started a new job, got married, had a baby, moved, all in the last 365 days. And this car has been along for the journey, for the major life changes that have happened over the last year. And I just want to go over some things that I've discovered over the last year owning this car, as well as give a long-term ownership perspective to those who are maybe looking into buying the car or already have the car and just want to see what to kind of expect. First off, let's start with what is a Dodge Charger Daytona. Daytona is a trim package which gets you some nice features like the Alcantara seats with the Daytona stitching on it. It gets you the Alpine sound system, sunroof, SRT appearance package on the outside, and then the satin vinyl wrap on the hood, the roof, and the trunk. You can get the Daytona in the 392 or the 6.4 liter SRT engine, but I have the 5.7 liter naturally aspirated V8 making 375 horsepower and 395 pound-feet of torque. Those are pretty healthy numbers, but when you take into account that this car weighs 4,400 pounds, it's definitely not the quickest thing in the world, and we'll get to my opinion on the performance of this vehicle a little bit later. All right, so let's talk about my overall experience with the car, doing what the car does best: daily driving. I definitely like driving it every day. It feels more special than an Accord or a Camry by far, even though an Accord or a Camry V6 would probably keep up with this car, no problem. But that's not the point. The point is, as a daily driver, this car does a lot of things well. It's a V8, 4 doors, big trunk, decent gas mileage when you do consider that it is a V8, and it looks good and sounds good while you're driving it. Pretty good. Hold up, let's do a pull. Let's do a pull. So, what does this car do well? After a year of ownership, what are the things that I still like about this car? Well, for one, it's the sound. I mean, this thing sounds really good. I have a mid-muffler delete with the stock mufflers. When cruising around town, it has a nice rumble to it. But then when you get on the throttle, it just unleashes all sorts of bananas crazy American bald eagles. It just goes for it, especially at wide open throttle. It just opens up the exhaust valves and lets you hear all 375 bald eagles under the hood. I do like the duality of that, being able to ride around and make a video because you can hear me just fine. And then you get on it, and it sounds like that. So yeah, that's the first thing after a year of ownership that I really enjoy about this car is the sound. It sounds great at startup, it sounds great cruising, it sounds great full throttle, it sounds great when you downshift, when you upshift. It just, there's never a time when I think that this car sounds bad. The second thing that I like about this car after a year of ownership is the seats. I work at a service center for my day job when I'm not making millions off of YouTube, and I sit in multiple cars a day, and it always feels like home when I get back into this car. While not the most soft, I have the right amount of firmness and supportiveness that makes it a good seat for daily driving. A big guy like myself, 6'1", 250, I find myself supported by these thick bolsters, but they're not so cramped that I feel like I don't fit in the seat or can't fit in the seat. And they're Alcantara, which sticks to the clothes even that much more, keeping you in your seat when you're hitting corners, when you're autocrossing, when you're doing donuts. They're heated and cooled. Although the cooled isn't all that strong, the heated definitely slaps in the winter time. So yeah, that's the second thing that I still love about this car is the seats, is the seating position, is the feeling in the overall cabin of the vehicle. It just feels like home. It feels comfortable, it feels natural. The third thing that I still love about my car after a year is the creature comforts. It has remote start, it has heated and cooled seats, it has a sunroof, it has the Alpine sound system, it has Apple CarPlay, it has keyless entry and keyless trunk opening. All these little features really add up to make interacting with the car seamless. I'm usually bumping music or playing podcasts. I almost always use my Apple CarPlay for navigation just to make sure I'm taking the quickest way to or from wherever I'm going, whether that be work or the grocery store or what have you. It's just always nice to know if there's a traffic jam up ahead and if I need to make some audibles along the way. Yeah, it's fun. My heart rate's up. Oh man.
I can't help you with that.
I'd say the final thing that I still love about this car after a year of ownership is just driving it. Is taking it to some back roads and flying down, hitting those downshifts to just do it all over again. Just go through all the gears, hear the snaps and crackles, hear the car just really stretch its legs. It doesn't get old, man. And that'll bring us to the things that I just wish were better. We'll start at the top with some of the minor stuff and work our way into some of the things that had I known prior to buying this car, I probably wouldn't have bought this car. The first thing is the paint. It's black. And there's nothing wrong with being black. I'm black. But being a car and being black, it's just, man, it feels like a full-time job to keep it clean, and it just got to a point where I just gave up, man. I'll wash it when I wash it and it'll look nice for a couple of days and then just immediately gets dirty again. I mean, I can't even get home before there's dust all over the car. I do have to park outside because I live in an apartment, and it just messes up my whole shiznit. And if I would do it all over again, I'd get one of the many cool colors that Dodge offers. I mean, they have a really sick blue, orange is cool. There's like a lava one, it's red. I mean, there's just so many other cool colors that I would have chosen over black that are easier to maintain and look just as good, if not better, especially on the Dodge with these body lines. The second thing that I don't really like too much about the car is the interior. I know I just was raving about it feeling like home and feeling natural, but it's just, it just feels cheap. Like everything, like the top of the door panels, the dashboard, there's so much plastic. There's so much plastic trim in here that for a $45,000 car brand new and $40,000 car used, it just doesn't feel like the interior is up to par, especially with what you can get in this segment in other cars. They could have used a nicer, softer plastic for the dash, but they used like the most rugged, raw plastic that they possibly could. I just wish that the interior was a little bit better for the money that you put into it. Last thing that after a year of ownership, I really am not a fan of is the lack of power. Like I said before, a V6 Camry or V6 Accord would keep up with this car. My wife's 08 Acura TL with the V6 in it keeps up with this car. And for something that is a V8 and makes all this noise, it doesn't really go that fast, especially when you consider the Scat Pack and Hellcat. There's really a disparity in performance between the next two tiers of Charger. What I really wish I would have looked into, and what I really, and one of my only regrets with this car is not looking into how much it costs to actually add power. To do full bolt-ons, intake, headers, exhaust, cam is about $10,000, and it only yields like 80 wheel horsepower. So you're paying $10,000 to modify the car, and yes, it'll sound good, and yes, it'll lope crazy with the cam, and yes, it'll be faster, still not as fast as a Scat Pack, and still has nowhere near the same amount of top end as a Scat Pack. Backroads though, it's pretty fun. It's more than quick enough on the back roads. It actually handles pretty good. It's got a nice long wheelbase, 50/50 weight distribution, and so it's pretty predictable and goes into corners pretty well. At the limit, as I found out on my autocross day, it will understeer like a total pig at the limit. But back here on the back roads, going 6/10, 7/10, you really shouldn't be finding that limit. Should just be going for a nice spirited drive. Overall, I love this car. There's a couple of things that I would do better next time, and you know, we don't take L's, we learn lessons. So next time I go to get a car, I would look into what it costs to modify it, what it costs to make the power that I want out of the car. So yeah, after a year of owning this car, I think it's an all net positive, and if I could do it again, I would do it again, but I'd get a Scat Pack. All right guys, it's James, your old friend you've never met before. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you to everyone who's been subscribed and continues to watch these videos. If you are not subscribed, please consider subscribing. I do make videos pretty regularly. Yeah, I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.